This is kind of the opposite of last week's picture, and as you know, I am terrible at naming photos. I think the photo name here is Flower Power. I am so sorry for that. I'm just not good at naming photos. I've done Weekly 50 for almost 10 years. I don't have it in me. So if you want a clever photo name, you got to look elsewhere. But hopefully this is a clever photo. This is the exact same flower plant as last week's, only a different part of it. This is obviously one of the main flowers on this plant. And all I did to take this was I used the exact same vase, the bouquet of flowers in this vase, sitting on the exact same table, except I moved everything so the main source of light was behind me. Last week it was behind the subject. Now it's behind me. So the flower, the main subject, is super well lit. And again, this is a really, really tiny piece of the picture that you're seeing. This is maybe 1.5 inches. Everything you're seeing here, start to finish, like from the left side of the frame to the right, is probably 1.5 inches wide. That's how close this macro lens can shoot. My 105mm Nikon macro lens. I shot this at f13. I held it on a tripod or mounted on a tripod. 3-second exposure at ISO 100 to get a nice clean shot. I think the trickiest part with this was getting everything composed just right, getting the tripod set up just right, and then figuring out how to get the focus just right. I didn't want a super large aperture because nothing was in focus, basically, but I didn't want a super small aperture because I did want some depth of field. So I settled on f13, and you get a little foreground blur with, well, not necessarily foreground, but the things that are closest to the viewer, those little orange or yellow circles on the flower that are sticking up, that are blurry, those are closer to you. So it lends like a sense of 3D depth to the photo. And you can see around the edge, those flowers are blurry because they're also, or those petals are blurry because they're closer. And then whatever the pink, weird, stringy stuff is in the center, that's mostly sharp. I think if I had really paid attention, I could have focused just a little better manually and gotten this even sharper, but that's okay. It is, I think it's perfectly serviceable as is. I'm enjoying taking photos of flowers with this macro lens.